Hi, welcome back to Teaching Math. Today we're going to discuss how to find the slope from a graph. Okay, so we know that the slope is showing the change in y, which is our vertical change, up or down, and divided by change in x, which is left to right. Okay, we also know that the slope, we can define it as rise, right? Changing vertical change over run, which will be the horizontal change. Again, these are x and y values. And so the easiest thing to do is really draw out the change that's happening vertically and horizontally and write those numbers down. So let's go ahead and do that. I want to also mention that we write the slope and we're given a variable on it, which is m. So let's go ahead, instead of writing slope, let's say m equals, and find the first line in here. I'm going to change my color so you can clearly see what we're doing. And so let's go ahead and find, how do you find the slope when you have a line? So what you're doing here is finding 2 points on the line, 2 closest points. You can still find the longest points, and I will show you how. But when you're looking for the slope, you're finding 2 closest points. They're going through whole numbers. As you can see, this line matches with 3, and then this one is matching with 6. So they're going through whole numbers. And remember, the slope is constant. So let's take a look at what that means. So the change is happening. A rise is 1, as you can see, and then run is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so the vertical change is 1, and then horizontal change is 3. So let's go ahead and write that down. Our vertical change, which was rise, is 1, and then our horizontal change was 3. And that will be run. The next thing we have to think about is this a positive or negative slope? Think about it this way. We always start from the left. So for positive slopes, we go from the left, right? From the left side, right here, towards right. And then we have to think about, is it going upwards or is it going downwards? As you can see, this one is going from left towards up. So this will be a positive slope. I don't have to do anything else. Just write those things down. But I want to mention here, this is what's happening. Could I have chosen different points? So let's erase that or just leave it there. I'll choose a different color. Could I have chosen these 2 points and got the same answer? Let's take a look. So here we have 1 and 2 vertical change. So let's go ahead and write that down. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so now we have horizontal change, that is 6. So let's go ahead and write that down. We had 2 over 6. And so the next thing you have to think about, well, are those 2 slopes equal to each other? And the answer is yes, because if I simplify 2 over 6, right, that will be dividing both by 2, I will still have 1 over 3. So it really doesn't matter which 2 points you choose. The reason I said the closest points, because it just makes it easier for you to get the answer right away, rather than moving to another step and simplifying your answer. All right, so let's take a look at another example. As I mentioned before, we have to choose 2 closest points. Now over here, sometimes in your homework as well, you will see those points that are further away from each other. We can start like, let's say you started with the points that are further away. And now again, what we're doing is we're going to try and find the rise and the run. That means vertical and horizontal change. So let's go ahead and start with the rise. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the run will be 1, 2. So let's go ahead and write 4 and 2 and put this over here. So m equals 4 over 2. As you can see clearly here, this is not simplified. So to simplify it, we're clearly going to divide 4 divided by 2, and that will equal 2. So our slope equals 2, or you can say 2 over 1, but really it's 2. So the next thing we have to think about, is this a negative or positive slope? Remember we talked about when it's positive slope, we're going from left to up, right? Towards right and up. And now here, again, we're starting from the left, right? But in this time, we're going down. So as you can see, we're going towards right, but we're also going down. So this makes it a negative slope. So let's go ahead and write that, put the negative sign right in front of our slope. And this is where students go and make an error by not really identifying if this is a negative or positive slope. Let's try another. Okay, this slope baffles a lot of students. I've seen students going and doing this, trying to find some kind of slope. But when you're looking at this and trying to connect 2 points, well, your 2 points could be, I'm going to change my color so you can clearly see, anything really closer to each other. And what does this mean? Are we going upwards to connect those 2 points? No, we're not. So if we're not going up, that means we're going 0 up, right? And then we can go 1 to the side, which will be in the bottom. So our change, basically there's no changes happening, right? Vertically, 0 change, but we're still going towards right. And this will be simplified. 0 divided by 1 will equal 0. So this slope is 0, and there's no negative or positive in here. What does this mean in real life? For instance, if you're standing somewhere and not moving and not going anywhere as the time passes, that will be 0 slope because you didn't go anywhere, you didn't cover any miles or whatsoever. So our x-axis will show the time that you were there, and then y-axis the location and how far you're going and coming. Okay, so let's take a look at one more. Okay, and here's another. This confuses a lot of students as well. And let's take a look at why. Okay, so again, we're looking at, is there any change happening vertically? Yes. So let's choose 2 points first. Okay, so vertically, we're going up. So I'm going to say m equals 1, going up. But are you going towards right or side? No, you're not going anywhere. That is 0. So we're not moving towards right, 0. And we call this 1 divided by 0. It's not a thing. If you put it in your calculator, it will give you an error because we cannot divide 1 into no groups, basically. That's what we're trying to say. So this one will be undefined. Okay, and that's how you find a slope from the graph. So if you like this video, like and subscribe for our next lesson, which will be all about finding the slope from 2 points. Remember, learning math takes patience, practice, and perseverance. See you on the next one.